It's New York Comic Con week. A lot of people here. A lot of the YouTubers are here too. I've seen Neurotic here. Geeks and Gamers is in town. A lot of others. Not planning to go. I'm not going to deal with that crowd. It just, like I said, I've stopped going to the cons because it's just gotten so crazy. Some of the people there are just, you can't believe what is, sometimes happens at these. I mean, some of them are okay, as far as the cons go. Others is just, and the craziness at Javis, last time I went there, it was too darn crazy on there. But before we start with this, which I think is very important to talk about today, if you notice the last couple of days, we either haven't been putting out an episode or we put out one episode. We had to pull back a bit, and we do apologize for that. Not to go into much detail, there's a lot going on YouTube, and we're going to do a separate show on that down the line. And we're trying to reorganize certain things and change things around and tweak some things that hopefully will help us. But one of the biggest things to help us is you, the viewer. You have been fantastic, and I'll tell you, we're still getting subscriptions. Not as much, as we want it to be, but at least some of you have come on, and those of you that are still watching, that watch episode to episode, day to day, you're there with us, and we appreciate that, and thank you for that. That's very important. And like I said, pass this on to others. Basically, so basically we will be noticed, because unfortunately YouTube doesn't want us on here. They don't want us. They may not like our content, and basically it's the same thing with other creators. Creators like us, we're the ones who help build YouTube. I mean, not me per se as QTCast. We came in late to the game, but others like Yellow Flash and Clownfish TV and Tim Pool and many others have put YouTube where it is today. And for YouTube to turn its back on those creators, that's a shame, because these guys are here. They do a lot of work. They do the best they can to bring a great show to you day in, day out. And they work hard. Some of them, this is their living. This is their total living. Just like me. I'm not even making much now on this. I mean, mostly what I have in my pocket goes right into there. There's sometimes a few donations here and there. Nothing much that would, move up. And I thank those who have donated or bought a shirt or something like that. That's helped in certain ways. But still, for a company that basically, needs new programming day in, day out, they don't support it. They just basically support the big corps. They support the politics of the situation, bent to the knee, to the PC culture, to the SJWs and the cancel culture nature. So let's not continue on with that. It's just, I don't want to get blaring with that. But here's something else, but it's part of this SJW and the cancel culture and all that. Joker came out this week, Joaquin Phoenix, which, it's opening to good reviews. Am I going to go see it in the theater? No, I'm going to wait. I've decided myself as a whole, unless I'm getting a press pass or something like that, a press screening, which I haven't gotten any in the last couple of weeks. If I get a press screening, I may go, or I may send someone from QTCast to go see it. But I've decided myself, I'm not going to sit in the theater. I'll wait till it comes out on video or on demand and watch it then. It's nothing against the producers or stuff like that. But I've been, bitten too many times as far as a lot of these films. In fact, the other day I just saw Godzilla. I loved Godzilla King of the Monsters. I didn't go to see it in the theater, but I enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it. And there's a couple other movies that people knocked at the box office that they basically said was awful. Saw it on it. Venom happened to be one of them, and I enjoyed Venom. That was a good movie. And, you know, you get all this mainstream media wrapped around it day in, day out on certain movies. And this happens to be one of them. And this was in the paper today. What was this? No, it was on the 30th. NYPD going to be covering Joker screenings. They're going to put undercover people in the movie theaters itself. You know, this was fueled by anxiety, by basically cancel culture, the situations of people on the left. They just want to blame everything on everybody else. If you don't agree with them, you're a part of the problem. That's their mentality. And you have a director who made a movie, which is probably, you know, some people saying it's good. And they basically knocking the movie itself because they say because of its tone on there. I mean, even the directors come, you know, saying like, my God, you know, these people are crazy. You know, this is a movie, you know, about a man who has some mental problems. He's hard on in life. You know, life's hit him hard, and unfortunately, he goes a little crazy, and literally a little crazy. I mean, but what other movie this hasn't happened to? I mean, there are many different movies that, you know, that has this similar nature to what this Joker movie presents on there. It's not uncommon. Is it violent? Yeah, you could say it's violent. Obviously, you know, you know, I've never seen a supervillain go out and just be easy with everybody. You know, even in the old 60s Batman TV series, it was never easy. You know, how they handled being bad. You know, a bad guy's a bad guy. You know, whether he's a serial killer, whether he's, you know, a guy off his rocker, or the Joker who just wants to see the world burn, and, you know, he just wants to continue to push out. Which I still say you know, there are many different Jokers. And the one thing I have with the little thing I have with this, it's not a major problem, is that the Joker's origin, I never believe. You know, there've been many different origin stories, everything from the Tim Burton Batman movie, the Mask of the Phantasm movie, the Killing Joke, and many others. You know, there are many other storylines that basically explain the origin of the Joker. But you got to remember one thing: the Joker is the Joker. You can't believe everything he sees. I mean, excuse me, everything he sees, everything he says. You know, he wants you to believe one thing, but then throws you a long curve. And that's the way the Joker is, and I've always believed that no one will ever know the true origin of the Joker. It is the greatest joke ever told, and that is the Joker itself. He is the greatest joke ever to himself, because basically you can't believe everything that's happened to him. You know, he may be, you know, of all his storylines that they've told about him, it could be a mixture of them all. Could have been a gangster, wanted to become a comedian, possibly, you know, and then, you know, the story from there on ended up to be a supervillain. But this whole situation where the military, the LA authorities, they were giving warnings and this and that, you know, and they said, oh, someone might shoot up the theater dressed as the Joker. We don't need another Aurora. Let me tell you something about Aurora, you know, and I'm sorry for those to the families, you know, that this happened to them. It is a tragedy. The story, the Aurora massacre, is a tragedy. But a lot that was put out was misinformation, and some of it was fake news. A lot of it, they were saying, well, they were pointing at, the Aurora sure was dressed as the Joker, and that he went directly for that movie, and, you know, all that is really not correct. And you could look it up. You could look it up through the district attorney of the county for Aurora, and they'll explain it out there properly for you. The Joker thing came in from an NYPD commissioner who had said that on one of the media papers, and then it just got taken and it just got thrown into there. And, you know, they go, well, he painted his hair red. Yeah, but the Joker's hair is normally green. So you understand that? A lot of people get confused on the hair colors and stuff like that. You know, these are the little things on there. I mean, even in the when they were interviewing him, the shooter itself had said a lot of things. For example, he didn't really choose the Dark Knight Rises or whatever, the movie that he chose. It was the blockbuster movie of the week. It could have been any blockbuster. It could have been a Disney movie. It could have been the Avengers. It could have been many different movies that it could have been that he would have shot up. He didn't just pick the Batman movie. He picked the movie that was popular that week. That movie happened to be popular that week because he knew there were going to be a lot of people at that day. It's the same thing happened with a lot of other, mass shootings and killers, and serial killers. I mean, a perfect example, go back to, and you see this in the TV series Manhunters on Netflix. They talk with Son of Sam, and a lot of the stuff that, they said about Son of Sam, that, the devil dog and stuff like that, on the beliefs that Son of Sam, it wasn't correct. It was incorrect. That he just agreed to it. He said, yeah, I agree. But that's not what was the real fact to it. So you have to take everything as a grain of salt when it comes to the media, when they report this stuff, until everything has been investigated. Always remember, facts and evidence. Facts and evidence. Very important on there. Did he disguise himself on there with the red hair and stuff? Yeah, he did. Did he shoot up a movie theater that was playing Batman? Yeah, he did. Was he going in as the Joker? No, he wasn't. Not one bit. So when you see all these media outlets that are talking about, oh, there's going to be violence and all, you're plaguing, you're opening a Pandora's box to the situation. You're allowing someone to put that into their mind and say, hey, listen, let me go up and shoot up somewhere. If they had this problem before, why didn't they say anything before? There've been many different comic books, animated movies, and regular movies that have been out concerning the Joker. You had stuff like, the Batman, the Tim Burton's Batman, which, Nicholson was great. It was dark, but he was shooting everybody up, killing everyone left and right. That was in the 80s. No one had a major problem on that. I mean, you have comics like The Dark Knight Returns, the comic and the animated movie, which was done in the two parts, where the Joker killed a lot of people in just the one movie itself. The one scene where he's being interviewed and basically kills everybody in the audience on there, and there's the gruesome fight between him and Batman. And then you have The Killing Joke, and that was a comic book and recently made into R-rated cartoon, animated movie on there, which I thought it was pretty good on there. I mean, some people didn't like it on there, but still, that was that whole scene with Barbara Gordon and everything getting shot and what he did to her and violating her and everything the way he did it. That was just it was total insanity on that. And you have others on there. You have the Batman Beyond series. You had the Return of the Joker. It wasn't that much violent, but it depends on what version you saw. And it's there is two versions of the movie itself. There is a version where you see the original Joker die. I should give everything away. And then there's one there isn't. That they just basically it's just paused into the background. Then you have, and here goes one that basically most people won't realize on this until they have seen it. And I know they were supposed to be working on a Flashpoint movie on there, the Flashpoint Batman. If you've not seen the Flashpoint Joker to this, it's it's a good story. Okay? I mean, catch up the comic. It's really, I think it's a 3-issue comic on that. And it's really, really good because it's an alternate universe. Bruce Wayne is the one who's killed in the alley, and his parents are the ones who survive, and his father becomes Batman, a very violent Batman, where he goes around killing people. I mean, I think it was Poison Ivy and a couple others are just murdered in the comic from what they say on there, and then the Joker is Martha Wayne, is Bruce Wayne's mother, and that is it leads toward the Heath Ledger, and bringing up that part of the Heath Ledger Batman. The Batman Joker storyline, it's the Flashpoint and the Heath Ledger one have similarities because she cuts herself in her mouth to make a smile. I mean that's pretty gruesome in itself. And of course, obviously seeing the Heath Ledger one, which is like one of the best ones on there, is a fantastic role. It's too bad that he had died. What could have been after that? It would have been fantastic sequels to that, but unfortunately, life asks its toll, and this is what happens. But moving back to the Joaquin Phoenix one, yeah, there's going to be violence in it. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of deaths. There's going to be the situation. This is a build up to a person that basically had his life, was hard driven, and I think that's what the director wanted. He wanted to show a story that basically, what can happen to a person like that, and it not realizing that it's a comic book. It's a comic book story. And there are many other comics with horrifying tales that, you go through day in, day out, that, you don't get this kind of press attention. Sometimes I think, you might think that the press attention was done purposely. And, could have been? It's hard to say with basically the cancel culture. They don't want this, and they say like, oh, the white guy, they're going to say white. This is going to promote white people to be more dangerous and da 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 da. I have to say, the world is not an easy place to live in. Don't blame it all on that. Don't believe everything that the media puts out to there. Go and look it up for yourself. Go check it out. You'll be surprised on some of the answers you get, when you discuss something of this nature. And like I said, it's a Joker movie. I'm surprised they didn't knock on the Harley Quinn movie that, the trailer just came out, The Birds of Prey. She could be pretty violent herself. And I'm surprised they didn't knock onto it. They didn't knock too much on the Suicide Squad on the movie. And let me tell you, there's one comic I didn't even bring up, not to go well into it because it's so complicated. This is the Joker's daughter comic. And that in itself is just a confusion in itself, but it is pretty violent and extreme in itself, and nobody goes into that as well. So you have to ask yourself, why now? Why press this up against this? It's all politics. It's all, it's pressing the nature of the politics. Because I understand that basically a letter was sent from the family members of the Aurora survivors and the families of the people that were killed at Aurora. But I also heard that it was a paper that they was sent to Warner Brothers about, that they should take care to this, and so many situations, about gun violence and stuff like that. And I heard it was, drafted by a lobby against guns, some group against guns, from what I'm saying. I mean, the best guys that talk about this is Midnight's Edge. They had a great little thing recently. Check it out, that they talk about the Joker and all the politics and everything to the situation from beginning to end, newspaper clippings that, it always leads back to politics. You know, it just leads back to the politics at hand. You know, that's a danger in itself. How many other movies are they going to start to chastise and stuff like that and draw up into the politics of it? I mean, it's getting scary at some points of this. I know we were drawing out a little long on this episode, but, you know, we have to put this out. And, you know, don't be afraid to go. If you want to go see this movie, I'm not telling you not to go see this movie. I'm telling you, if you want to go see it. See the movie. You know, see for yourself what's the whole hubbub. Because basically there's been many times in history that movies have been used as a political ploy. One of the movies I can bring up was, from a religious point of view, The Last Temptation of Christ. You know, they try to prop up, you know, it was like, oh my God, look at the blasphemy and this and that. You know, and I said, did you go see the movie? He said, no, but it was blasphemous and all that. I saw the movie. The movie was excellent. You know, more people should have gone and seen it. It happened to be very good. William Dafoe is Jesus Christ, you know. And that's what it was. It was the last temptation. You know, it was not to give much away, but it was the devil tempting Christ on the cross. That's what the whole movie is. You know, because they said, oh, he had a wife and children and stuff like that. But the last temptation of Christ. That's all I got to say on that. But yet, that's how you propped up. And many other movies have been done that, you know, that through the years that they've been protested against and stuff like that. You know, whether it's religion and politics, it always leads up to some political agenda when it comes to it. You know, there are movies out there that basically they just want to push a political, that, you know, Ghostbusters and the other couple movies that come out, the Star Trek TV series, Discovery, you know, and many others that, you know, they just basically want to put a political narrative around there. They say, oh, we have to have diversity, this, that, and the other thing. But there's plenty of other stuff out there that's well made, well done, that you should go out and check out. And I'm going to tell you, go check out The Joker. See for yourself on that. See what it is. If you want to wait like me, go ahead. Wait like me. That's what I'm going to do. You know, no one has sent me a press pass for that one. But like I said, these days, stay home, watch it at home. And, you know, if I enjoy it, I'm going to tell you, the viewers, I enjoyed it. If I hated it, you know, I'm going to tell you, I hated it. You know, hated it. Get back a little bit of the living color. You know, it becomes a problem when you talk about this and the way that this is portrayed, that the media gets kicked out of the red carpet. Why do you have heard that the media gets kicked, the reporters are kicked out, with the exception of cameramen, only the cameramen were allowed, that you get kicked out of a red carpet and not allowed to ask questions at the red carpet premiere of The Joker. I mean, this is what it's become. You know, I mean, there are people suing media outlets for what they've done, you know, what they've said. A perfect example, One American News is still suing MSNBC and Rachel Maddow for some of the comments he's saying. You know, it's going to get to the point where, you know, one of these movie companies are going to put out a good movie and tank at the box office, and they're going to blame it on the media because of it. You know, the same thing happened with Rambo. Rambo had a lot of negative press because they were like, "Oh, he's going after Mexicans now. He's going after." Have you not seen any of the Rambo movies where he was embedded in Afghanistan with the Taliban, or you know, when he went into you know, into Asia, you know, trying to rescue the POWs. It's you know, it's the bad guy of the week, I've always say, when it comes to a lot of these movies. And unfortunately, that's what's happening now. If you've not seen what has been going on, you know, Rambo is another perfect example. You know, they say, well, you know, oh, they portray Mexican as the bad guy. You know, there've been a crap load of movies out, including, have you not heard of Sicario? I mean, come on. You had a great movie with Sicario that came out, and it was dealing with the excuse me. I get excited there. The cartels in Mexico. Come on, really? And then you bash on Rambo? I just gotta laugh. Sometimes you got to laugh at this. And it's not that and Sicario did one movie, they did 2 movies. And they both, the second one was okay. First one was excellent. I mean, if you've not seen Sicario, I mean, I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it I saw it at home. I mean, that is a fantastic movie. I mean, so well done. I mean, from a acting point of view, action, and also how it was shot and edited. And it is, it's really well done. It's really well done. But, you didn't get the kind of criticism it had toward Rambo. And there were plenty of other movies of this nature. They're like, well, Mexicans can't be bad guys. Americans can't be bad guys. Africans can't be bad guys. It's like they want to put a movie out and they says, well, you can't use it because basically, we can't view them as bad guys. Why? Well, you just can't. But that's not an answer. Bad guys could be anybody, there's even the Canadians. The Canadians could be bad guys, No, just kidding. There are many, many different storylines that have been given. The story of the day, that can be grabbed as bad guys. If you've not watched a Law and Order episode, which they grab a lot of stuff from the headlines, you look at it in that perspective many, many times. Mindhunters, they did the Atlanta child murders. The Atlanta child murders were so controversial. And I'm surprised no one in the media really picked up on that and discussed that, because it was so controversial. There's a lot going on in the world. There are a lot of villains. Not all of them are going to be jokers. But there are villains out there. And sometimes, Hollywood does portray them in certain ways on there. But that's a movie. That's what a movie is. You pick up a book. You read a book. And it tells the same types of stories on there. Some of them are good. Some of them are horrible. Some of them are award-winning and saying, why aren't they making a movie about this? Always going to be bad people in the world. And doesn't matter what race, creed, or color they are. It's basically, they're going to be, if they're going to turn out to be bad, psychotic, mentally disturbed, it doesn't, life is life. It doesn't discriminate on that. If someone's going to go crazy, they're going to go crazy. And the Joker is the perfect example of someone, like I said, a lot of problems with his life. Downtrodden, and his life went in a spiraling, deadly direction. And it doesn't mean that they were mentally to begin with. There are people who didn't start out with mental issues, and then something happened, something snapped, and they went down a dark path. And it happens in this world. And then there are those who have many, like the Aurora shooter, which wasn't recognized in time, had a lot of mental problems in his life. And basically, wasn't caught on time, and then you had the Aurora shooting. And it's, this is the things that happen. So comment below, tell me, you're going to go see it? But I'm going to tell you, if you want to go see it, go see it. Especially if you're in New York. If you feel uncomfortable going into a Manhattan one, hey, come out to Staten Island, come out to Brooklyn, the boroughs on there. There are many theaters throughout the tri-state area. And those of you outside the New York region, go see it wherever you want to go see it comfortably. See it with friends, see it with family, see it however you want to see it. Don't let anyone deter you from going to go see something, going to see a movie of this nature. Don't matter what the title subject is. Because if someone tells you don't go see it just because of the nature of the movie, that's censorship in my case. And also, politics itself. Because people just want to throw in their 2 cents and say, this is what's going on there. Yeah, if you say that this is what's going on in the world, truly, then do something about it. Don't sit there and start yelling, at every movie that's coming out that may resemble some of the things that are going on. Go out and do something about it. But for those of you, go see it. And, and if it's a good movie, thank the director, thank Warner Brothers for making a good movie on there. And if you like it, go see it again. So, until Monday, we'll definitely have a show up on Monday. There's a lot going on. I know there was a mediation with the Vic Mignogna. I don't know if we'll have something today up. Originally was supposed to be that. It was supposed to be the Vic Mignogna, and then we were supposed to have the Joker as a second story. But unfortunately, I'm still waiting to hear. I've heard some stories that it's not doing well, that it looks like it's going to end up going to the judge tomorrow. So hopefully Monday we'll have a full wrap-up of what's going on and let you know how things are going with that. There's a couple other things going on. There's also Axanar is in trouble again. Supposedly they violated the CBS accord with the lawsuits that happened. The settlements that they're on there, I think they violated some of the agreements. We're going to look into that as well. I know Doomcock has been talking about that today, but we're going to look further into it, see if there's anything else that we could find out about it. There's also some other things that are going on with Disney. Kickstarter, is causing some problems with comic book creators. So much that's going on right now. But we're going to try our best to bring it to you. We're doing our best to bring it out. Like I said, if you don't see a day that we don't broadcast, don't worry. We're not gone. We're still we're tweaking. Or we may have had a problem putting up the show. Is a possibility. We had one day we already had a problem putting up a show. But don't worry. We were able to get the show up. So until our next episode, thank you for tuning in to Man Man with the Show on Cuticast TV. We will see you tomorrow on American Asylum. I'm hoping we have on there. We were supposed to have a guest. Haven't heard back from the guest yet. Hopefully we'll be up tomorrow. So until then, have a good day.